In the top stories, foreign policy positioned as a strategic policy for St. Kitts and Nevis. Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley named on Forbes' top 100 most powerful women list, and U.S. sanctions Maduro family members. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Major Newscast. I am Jasmine Thomas. First, on the local scene, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs successfully hosted its inaugural fireside conversation on diplomacy, development and outlook under the theme Foreign Policy as a Strategic Asset in National Transformation. The event brought together the resident diplomatic and consular corps, stakeholders, partners and ministry staff for a timely and substantive dialogue on how diplomacy continues to shape and support the country's development trajectory. Convened ahead of the 2026 national budget debate, the event created an important platform for the public to deepen their understanding of how foreign policy directly supports the government's sustainable island state vision by aligning national priorities with global opportunities. Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Right Honorable Dr. Denzil Douglas, and Permanent Secretary Ms. Kay Bass emphasized that in today's rapidly evolving international landscape, foreign policy is not ceremonial but a strategic development tool. The leaders also outlined how the ministry's work over the past year has yielded tangible results, including expanded scholarship and training opportunities, increased access to climate financing, the integration of renewable and digital technologies, strengthened security partnerships, and enhanced engagement across key multilateral fora and emerging South-South partnerships. And diplomats, development partners, and industry stakeholders gathered at the United Nations on Wednesday, 10th December 2025, World Sustainable Transport Day, to launch the United Nations Decade for Sustainable Transport. In 2023, the General Assembly declared the first ever United Nations Decade of Sustainable Transport to start in 2026. The United Nations Decade of Sustainable Transport will be an opportunity to further raise awareness of transport's crucial role in advancing the Sustainable Development Goals and to gather and rally new solutions, resources, and partnerships to advance sustainable transport globally. St. Christopher and Nevis welcomed the launch of the UN Decade with an intervention by Mrs. Licia Phepps, diplomat at the permanent mission of St. Christopher and Nevis to the UN, who identified the mutually beneficial possibilities by stating St. Kitts and Nevis's Sustainable Island State Agenda 2040 represents our national effort to achieve the Paris Agreement and accelerate the attainment of the SDGs while advancing long-term sustainability, resilience, and security imperatives. And the reigning junior Calypso monarch for the primary school division, 10-year-old Adia Inanga, is preparing to return to the big stage this season. Last year marked her first entry into the competition and her first win.
I wasn't really expecting that I was going to win, but it was a big surprise. I wasn't really expecting that I was going to win, but it was a big surprise.
Adia now attends Sky Academy, and she says her father was the one who encouraged her to enter the competition again.
I wasn't really expecting that I was going to win, but it was a big surprise.
Her winning song last year, Different, focused on celebrating individuality.
Different was how people are different, how people are bullying. So I'm telling them it's okay to be different.
For 2025, she returns with a new piece titled Screen Time.
Screen time is how everybody's on their screens, and I'm telling them to stop. And there are other things to do. Like, we can play outside and go out running on the field. And I usually go playing outside on the field with my dog.
Despite her age, Adia says performing comes naturally once she connects with the audience.
I feel good because I'm mostly feeding off of the crowd. And I know that my dad and my mom is there to support me and everybody else.
She hopes her message reaches other young performers who may be afraid to take the stage.
It's never too late to go out and perform and say what you're thinking about. So this was a very good change for me.
With confidence, creativity, and strong family support, Adia says she is ready to compete again and hopes for another strong showing.
I can't determine if I'm going to win or not, but I hope that I'm going to win.
And now for a look at news on the regional scene. Prime Minister Mia Mottley has once again earned international recognition, returning to the Forbes World's 100 Most Powerful Women list for the third consecutive year, ranking number 99 in 2025 among the globe's most influential political, business, and philanthropic leaders. Forbes highlights Mottley's continued global impact, particularly her forceful advocacy on climate change, her diplomatic leadership, and her role in steering Barbados's constitutional transition. According to her Forbes profile, Mottley was elected as Barbados's Prime Minister in 2018. When she was sworn in, she became the first woman to hold the role. The profile also notes her rise as a global leader on climate issues, referring to her 2021 address to the United Nations General Assembly, where she delivered an impassioned speech calling for urgent action. On the international scene, the United States has announced new sanctions on shipping companies and vessels. It says help move Venezuelan oil, putting more pressure on a major drop of President Nicolas Maduro's regime a day after it seized a sanctioned tanker, likely carrying millions of dollars worth of oil off the country's coast. 3 nephews of Maduro's wife, Celia Flores, as well as another Maduro-affiliated businessman, were also named in the sanctions list released on Thursday by the U.S. Treasury. 2 of the sanctioned nephews were previously convicted of drug trafficking charges in the U.S. before being released in a prisoner swap. We now take a look at the weather. Present weather across St. Kitts and Nevis is partly cloudy skies with slight dust haze. Winds a moderate breeze of 15 miles per hour from the east. Seas are 1.2 to 2.1 meters or 4 to 7 feet, with swells reaching 1.5 meters or 5 feet. Therefore, a high surf advisory remains in effect. Weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis: partly sunny skies in general, with a 40% or moderate chance of a brief passing shower. Tonight, cloudy skies with brief cloudy spells and a 60% or moderate chance of brief passing overnight showers. Sunset this evening is set to be at about 5:38, and sunrise tomorrow morning is set for 6:30. That brings us to the end of the Midday Major Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jasmine Thomas. God bless you.